So that seems to work now. And now how can we hook this into Node-RED and start hooking things together? So both of these have so-called WebSockets they are communicating over. And so we just have to now define these WebSockets to both talk to Mycroft and to Rhasspy. So let's first do the WebSocket for Rhasspy. So we need a WebSocket. WebSocket in. So we don't have one yet. So we have to define a new WebSocket here. And that is the following. Let's stop a second. My computer. It's on the same port I use as a website, but I need to access the API here. Okay, and we want to receive that as the payload. Good, and so let's call that Rhasspy event. And so that will actually come as JSON. So we have to send this through a JSON parser. And let's put it here, and then let's just do some testing and connect the debug node to see what comes actually out. So let's check that on debug and do our weather example again. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? And as you see, we don't see anything, which I don't understand why. Let's check here. Events. The events intent. Looks okay. It might be that we forgot to set the name. Yes. Let's say that is my computer. Desktop. Test. Save settings. And make sure we start. Let's start seeing if we get something else here already. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? I think what could be is that it is a wrong format of the URL. So let's see, because I think we don't have this one here. Done. And let's try again. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? Ah, there we go. So we don't need that one. Try again. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? And now we just get one. See, nice object. Here we have the intent and it detects it's the weather. Let's try the other one. Hey Mycroft, what's the time? And see here it actually detected that this is the time. And now we can do things based on this. So question is now, how do we send that to Mycroft to actually answer our stuff? So some of the things like the light stuff we might actually want to do here, and some of the things we want to actually forward to Mycroft. So let's just make sure that the light intent doesn't go to Mycroft. So let's build here a switch and pipe our JSON in there. So we have this intent here. So if the message payload intent is something specific like light, we want to do something ourselves, and we want to, in all other cases, forward the stuff to Mycroft. So, and as I told you, we also have to use a WebSocket there. And the WebSocket from Mycroft is actually, I think, on the port 8181 core. So let's do an WebSocket out so we can send things to Mycroft, which are not light. And we call that Mycroft. And we want a new one here. And this is 8181 and core. Not core. But that's not totally true. So we have to actually transform that first because we have to see in which format this is. So let's just remember that, but have also a WebSocket in from the same one. So we can see what Mycroft is actually expecting from us. And see, something is coming from Mycroft, some kind of display stuff. So what we will be later actually interested in is that Mycroft speaks back to us. So we want to actually do another switch where the Mycroft in goes. And this is type, payload type, and if this is speak, we want to later send this back to our Raspberry stuff. So we have that already. So, but what do we have to send out? So we can now monitor it. You could type something into Mycroft. Oh, we can actually really do that. So let's kind of go to Mycroft. And do Mycroft start Mycroft in the command line. And let's manually ask for the weather and see what that actually means. Good, so Mycroft can actually answer there. And so you see different events actually coming in here now. And here is actually recognizer loop utterance, and that is what we want to create. So we want to create an utterance here. So we take a JSON on a mustache template. So, and we want to actually send that. There's one thing we have to do first, because else sessions will be overwritten. So we want to take this here. And we want to make sure that we don't have the session left anymore, because every message in nodered has a session connected to it. Oh, it's underscore session. Okay, we want to call that the session. Okay. And now we want to type that in a template in which we put the utterance. So in JSON we can send in this format to Mycroft. And so we have to do the right type. Organizer loop utterance. And we have to send some data. You see it just right here on the right. Utterances. And then we're going to send this as a list. So it came actually in payload text, if I remember correctly. Yes, payload text. That is what is actually detected. And so let's go again. What was that? There was the time. Utterance. It. Language is EN. And oops, it's actually in there. And then the context is pretty interesting, because with this we can actually use just one Mycroft later and have several clients working with that. So we have here the client name, and here we put then the payload dot, let me check, where do we get from Rhasspy the stuff we are interested in? So there should be actually a site ID coming here, but let's kind of finish up some other things and then switch off some of the comments coming here from Mycroft so we can do a proper debugging of that. So we want to actually finish this template, and so that should be in payload, I think it's site ID, but we will verify that. No, we'll just say it comes from nodered, and it's something which the skills of Mycroft Mycroft should handle. So, and I think it seems like I have a little mistake here too, so this needs to be delete. Good. So, and then let's not get too much from Mycroft right now. Good, I'm kind of stuck here, and so let's see if we can move on. So the idea is that this is a change in Raspberry, so we have to deal with it, and that basically means that we have to add the satellite ID here to the JSON. So we will actually put there a change in there and just add the ID. So we will just set a satellite ID here, and so this is actually my desktop. So we will just say on the desktop to remember where that came from, and so we will say something as set ID to desktop. So, and then we will carry that with us and send it in the switch node and detect what's going on. And now this is coming, and we can send it to Mycroft. So for this we have to forward the utterance and pump it in there, and know that I call it satellite, so we can actually here not say payload site ID, we just say satellite. This one, satellite, and that should actually be it. So let's now send that to Mycroft, and then you should actually see that this works. Hey Mycroft, what's the time? That doesn't go through. Let me check this. Oh, there is a comma missing here. Hey Mycroft, what's the time? That was not it. So I think the session has only one underscore. So let's try that again. Hey Mycroft, what's the time? That looks good. So now it goes through. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? Very nice. Now we want to actually that this comes back to nodered, and so it talks to us. It actually does play it locally, but I switched off the microphone or the speaker, so you will not hear it. I don't know how I really can prevent Mycroft from addressing that locally. Need to figure that out. But you can just mute the Mycroft output, and then you can capture that to move on, because we get this here in select speak. So let's, I will see. Let's connect this. Oh, did I say select? I think we misspelled this here. Deploy that. Start over. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? Now it actually understood what's the rather, but see it kind of Rhasspy detected that it should be the weather, and unfortunately we didn't get the speak out. Why not? It should be at the message payload type. Okay, let's make a shortcut and see what we actually got out there. I'm getting more data now. Hey Mycroft. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? Gooey. Closure, speak. So type is speak. What did I do wrong here? Message payload type. Oh, we might have not. Ah, yeah. Tricky stuff. We want to parse that, and then it should work. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? And see, now we get here speak to things. So now how do we send the speak back? So we want to actually use the text to speech here from Rhasspy for doing that. So how do we find that? We have to use emit an event for Rhasspy. And so we can actually just use an HTTP post for that. So we need a request. So we take an HTTP request. And we probably want to actually now, because we saved the satellite, and you see it comes then back to us here in the context. So this is the client names. There's the ulno desktop. So let's get the client name, and based on the client name, decide where it goes out. So we take a switch here. And we want to, based on the payload context, client name. Okay, that's it. Done. Now we just say this is the pick satellite. And so if this is ulno desktop, it goes out there. So and you can then add multiple here if you have multiple satellites. And then if you set correctly the ID up here, then you can do that. We should kind of document that too. This is big intent. So, and so this one we have to now post to here HTTP ulno desktop. So this is actually again the API from Rhasspy. So API, and then we just select text to speech, and that is all we need. No, it's not, because now it would kind of speak to us a JSON object, and so actually we want to just have the text that speaks in the output. So let's for that make sure we just save the satellite in a satellite again. So, and we will just here take satellite and make sure that we just write that here in satellite. And then we want to also make sure that in message payload text, and that in payload only have the where's what I want to speak in utterance, in data utterance, message data. That's where we want to send that. Message data utterance. Okay. So we call this now here speak on the desktop. So let's see if that works. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? No, really. So I might have. Oh, this is message payload, of course. Message payload, and let's kind of remove the typo here. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? We're getting close. Let's see. Speak. Data. Utterance. Payload data utterance. Payload. So let's try again. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? And I think I messed up a 1 here. And maybe let's try it once more. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather? I'll try it again to connect there. I might have not deployed. Hey Mycroft, what's the weather?
Right now, it's broken clouds and 26 degrees. Today's forecast is for a high of 26 and a low of 17.
That sounds pretty nice. maybe I should go out after all this recording and enjoy the nice weather. So other things from Mycroft will work too now. Just the light doesn't. So this is all you need for the round trip between Mycroft, Rhasspy, and Node-RED. So everything here on this page. So if you want to learn to set up anything of this, I hope you will enjoy this movie. You can now add a lot of other things. I can give you a little preview of what will come. So this is actually my house and everything automated in here. I will show it to you. So I have actually two things. This is Mycroft and this is Rhasspy. And this will be another movie. So until then, stay tuned, and I hope I see you soon again here in the IoT Empire. Bye-bye.